Hi, this is Priya Kannan. I'm going to be making a series of videos on the topics of human consciousness, human nature, the human mind, psychology. Um, I'm not referring to psychology in the sense of an academic exploration of uh, the human nature or the human psyche, but rather a deep probe into one's own self. Um, the idea is to see if, by way of making this deep exploration, which is logical, analytical, and where there is some coherence in terms of what we are with our interactions and associations with the world, in our relationships, and so on, and to see if basically through this probe, if a deep and a fundamental change in oneself is possible by way of this exploration. Without an understanding of oneself, one cannot hope to understand anything else, for that matter, anything in life. So one has to for me, to bring about harmony in my relationships, for one to bring about a harmony in one's relationships with the world, with their families, with those around them, there has to be that harmony within themselves first. So, and without an understanding of one's own self, one can't hope to bring about any change whatsoever, either in one's own life or in the world. So, therefore, it's important to resolve any conflicts or divisions of any nature, either in oneself or in the world around us. One has to first acknowledge and accept and acknowledge the conflicts and the divisions that exist in oneself. One must first unravel in oneself what one is trying to do outside. The divisions and the conflicts must first cease within for it to cease outside. And therefore, it's of the most practical relevance and of utmost importance to first understand oneself. The person closest to you is you yourself. Another can't tell you who you are or what you can or cannot do. Nobody can know you as well as you know yourself. Therefore, it's imperative that you first understand this about yourself, and it's imperative that you explore the very foundation that makes up who you are, the very foundation of your own of your own mind and nature, and the way your mind operates. When I say you, I just want to make it clear that I am not making a personal reference to you as you. It's just for ease of language and relatability that I'm using a personal pronoun such as I or you. And when I am making this attempt to understand myself, I also want to make it clear that by the term self, I am certainly not attempting to associate it with any scriptural connotations of the word self, or any elevated or special meaning or position that is often used when terms like consciousness, self, or words such as self-realization is used. I want to make it abundantly clear that the idea here is not to make such associations here. When I say self or consciousness, I literally mean it for its face value. By consciousness, I'm referring to all the things that one is aware of, that one is conscious of. And that is the extent to which one can meaningfully and logically speak of when we say of consciousness. Anything that is not in the realm of one's own awareness is not something that the person can possibly investigate or probe into. Therefore, when I am referring to making this logical, analytical, deep probe, I am really referring to all the things that is within the realm of this field of consciousness that one is aware of, that one is conscious of. The idea behind this video is the fact that humans share as a common denominator this human nature, this human consciousness. By that I mean one could have different specific instances of events taking place in their lives, but if you really look at it, the overall residual juice out of those individual instances, individual experiences, individual instances is fundamentally the same. There's something that might give you happiness, and there is an experience in my life that might give me happiness. The trigger may be different for you, and the trigger may be different for me. But fundamentally, the residual feeling or emotion that we both share in each of our instances respectively is that of happiness. And the same goes for sorrow, the same goes for pain, the same goes for jealousy, or the same goes for insecurity or fear, or any of the other range of human emotions. And I think this is what we share in this river of consciousness, the human consciousness. Basically, it's dictated by these emotions and feelings, isn't it? It seems this is the drive behind all our actions. If you weren't seeking contentment of some sort, you wouldn't have to aspire for something. If you weren't seeking contentment or fulfillment of some desire, fulfillment of something, there wouldn't be the desire in the first place. So that is a common factor between you and me. So therefore, since we share that in common, and since when I say we, I'm referring to all humans, since we share that as a common factor, I think it makes a lot of sense to make a deep probe into the very nature that makes up this human consciousness. To say that I do not personally have any divisions or prejudices within myself would be very one-sided. And without an understanding of the structure of human consciousness, the structure of the self, the human self, I think to talk of making a change in the world or making a change in oneself would have no meaning. And the idea behind these videos is just that. Call it self-inquiry, call it just an investigation, a scientific investigation, call it or spirituality or whatever you will. But the idea really is to understand this fundamental aspect that puts up this foundation of what we call one's self. And without this understanding, there is no meaning, or there is no truly lasting value to anything else that we may attempt at in life. It has its relative value. Everything that we do certainly has a relative use, but no real value, in the sense there is nothing happening there. There is nothing changing there. There is nothing, you flow along without questioning something for long enough. And then you suddenly start questioning, you suddenly come upon that point when you see something. It's hard not to take it seriously. It's hard to ignore something which is so obvious. So the idea is to turn inwards. The idea through these videos is to turn inwards and see if through this exploration of this human nature, if one can bring about a true transformation, a true change in oneself. And in that change, the world changes. Because if one changes and their outlook changes, everything that they thought previously doesn't hold water anymore. It doesn't hold, everything that you thought made you or broke you would have very little meaning if you had a sound understanding of the structure of your own self. And that's why it's crucial that one understands their own nature first. And I'm going to be making a series of videos, and I have written about it, I blog about it, I write. So for anybody who may be interested, the descriptions I've given the details in the description. If any of you have any questions, or you'd like to explore a specific aspect of human emotion, or human something that you may be going through, or if there is a problem that you'd like to discuss and explore further together with me, by all means do write to me. My contact details and other details about my writings and my blogs, everything is given in the description below. And I hope you'll find these videos useful and of some practical relevance to day-to-day problems and your day-to-day life. And I hope in this exploration together with me that there will be many discoveries for you as much as for me, as much as there will be for me. So I'll see you soon with a video on any other topic that might come to my mind, and I will explore as best as I can, and I hope it will be meaningful to you. Thank you.